Hello and welcome back. This is our Sex Mode Presents Game of Thrones Genesis. This is level 3, choice of an ally, and we'll be playing it on Expert. So basically Nymeria's stormed through. She's got her initial bannerman, but she's looking for a proper ally, either between the green guys here or the orange guys. You find out who they are in a bit. And yeah, she'll give us a little bit of a backstory here. So there she goes. She wants a powerful ally, raise an army, basically. So start building a couple of envoys, send them out, and start capturing some towns to bring them onto your side.
I'm listening.
So I'm just selecting the first one, queuing him up to take a couple, the bottom 3 first, and then the gold mine. And then when the second envoy pops, I'll be doing the opposite, but up the top. So they'll just be off doing their thing. But having played this level before, I know what happens is that one of your envoys ends up being a spy or a turncloak. So in effect, you know, he's been bought out by a rogue, and even though he looks like he's on your side, really he's not. And so all of the alliances that he's made for you may or may not be dodgy. But the other thing I'm doing here is you start off with some mercenary units, and I'm just moving them down to the south, and that's to sort of you know, attack any to intercept any like mercenaries or assassins or rogues or things like that, that are coming straight from the southern enemy, and I'll be looking to do the same with the northern enemy as well. Yeah, so Nymeria's has suspected why our prestige isn't going up, and that one of our envoys is a turncloak. I'm not sure whether it's always the first envoy that you have, or whether it waits until you build 2, or I'm not too sure. But anyway, I take a punt and start inspecting one of the towns to the south. So the inspections is almost complete, and keeping an eye on it, and it says, oh, I found that one's the secret agreement, and I'm not sure if it always is the first one that you search or not, but now I've got to follow that envoy around and check him out and make sure whether or not he's the turncloak, which I know in this case he will be. So that's why I'm just bringing him a little bit closer to the spy so I can get this over and done with and move on to the next part. So there I'm building a third envoy, which will actually become my second envoy, because that one is discovered as a turncloak, and so he's, you know, actually an enemy unit and not my unit.
Future ally. Ready.
And there we go, he's uncovered him as a spy. And how that can happen is you can send your spy units to the enemy's base, and you can say to infiltrate as like an envoy. So that means that the next envoy they actually build is a turncloak spy envoy, and you don't notice that. It's seamless to the other person. So yeah, so now I'm just taking a spy and going around and checking out all those alliances, just making sure that they're legit and not dodgy. Chances are they're all going to be dodgy ones. But yeah, that's why I built that third envoy, which is now my second one, and he has to go around and recapture all of those lands. So you can see that I've spread out and I've taken over most of the places, and so I've got a good amount of income, and that will help me later on to get some more mercenaries and spies and rogues and such. So Nymeria here is just explaining the you know, the underhand method of sending over the spy to the base and acting as a false envoy. So she's come up with a plan to use the rogue unit, and this is where it introduces its secondary function where you can buy off units. So that's what she's requesting you to do. is take the rogue and buy off an envoy. So throughout this mission, the enemy does that to you as well. So you've got to be careful on any armies or mercenaries that you leave about sort of unattended without a spy. That a rogue can come up and just buy off your army, which is not good.
Yes, I'm coming.
Yeah, so I've got that army sort of situated to the south to block off, all the wandering envoys and whatnot. So there we go. So they've just leveled up. I'm just killing as much stuff as I can. I really should keep that spy in range of that unit, because if an invisible rogue pops up and wants to buy that unit, it's going to happen, and then they'll be fighting against me rather than for me. So there's a couple more secret agreements that have been uncovered, I suppose. You just got to keep on top of it and keep sending your envoys out and then retaking those towns. So I'm not sure why my rogue didn't buy off the first unit. I told him to go buy off, so I'm going to have to select another one, find another one which he can purchase. But at this point it's okay to sort of take your time and build up your money if you really want to, because you will need to use armies as well as mercenaries, I suppose, later on to fight the battle. So there's that spy, so I'm just putting him there. Oh, mission checkpoint saved, so that happens when you buy off the first unit with the rogue. So just seeing what Nymeria has to say about it. Okay, so now she wants to raise an army. So this sort of introduces the concept of the food resource in the game, which you acquire by using the peasant units, which I'll be building a few of them here, and assigning them to work in the fields. And how you get the fields is through the captured towns that you have. They may have like a couple of farming patches, and you can only assign one peasant per farming patch. So basically, if you want to get more food, you need more peasants and more towns that have the farming patches on them.
Send this nuisance back home. I shall expel him. Yes.
So yeah, I'm just assigning them there to the farming patch, building a couple more peasants. I really want a second spy to send up to the north to accompany the crossbows that I'm sending up there, because I know if I leave them alone, unattended without my own spy, then they're going to get bought out. So there's another envoy I can buy off, so I'm using my rogue to try and buy him off. And I'm sending my mercenaries here up to the north. I was kind of really wanting to get a spy. There we go, I'm building a second spy. But, oh, he's alright. Just anytime you see red dots on the screen, you should check it out and see what it is. It could be assassins or another army. And there, my army just got bought off by a invisible rogue. So that's why I should have waited for the spy that I'm now sending. And the army would have been able to spot the rogue and kill them off rather than getting bought off. So that was a little bit of a mistake on my part, but it's something to be wary of. And I think it's something that only happens on the expert difficulty level as well. So just building more peasants, trying to maximize the food count. As you can see, I'm up to getting 159 food per minute. And I've got 120 food at the moment. And yeah, typical armies cost around just over 200 when you first start buying them. Somewhere between 200 and 300, and that goes up the more you have. So sending that spy up, I saw the crossbow units that got bought out, so I run away from that. And here my units are in battle, so I'm purchasing an upgrade so they can take out those archers.
Yes.
So yeah, so when you're assigning a peasant to the farm, it's good to see how many other farming slots are available. So then you know how many more peasants you can, you can build. And the longer the peasants farm, the more experience they get, and after a while they'll level up and start farming you more food per minute. which is always good. So you want to protect any peasants that you've got, which have leveled up. So I'm still trying to keep on top of the game in terms of keeping all the allies. I'm trying to get as much allies as possible. So Nymeria is wanting me to get 300 food, and I think I've purchased an army just before I got to that amount, just so I'll have a couple of armies for when the 300 food count does happen, because I know it triggers the next objective, which will be coming up very shortly.
At your command. At your command.
Yeah, so there's the 300 food, and so she's feeling all high and mighty now that she's managed to get an army, because armies are far superior to mercenaries. But they're kind of sort of the third tier unit, I suppose. So you get them in sort of mid to late stage of the game. If you're playing sort of 1v1 or something like that. So she's now wanting me to raise an army after getting the 300 food count. So once I sort of sort out this army and do the upgrades and stuff, I'll be looking to buy the second army needed to trigger the next objective. So there we go, that's just finished. And okay, so prestige is high, military thing's high. Now she wants to offer either to House Martell or House Jordaynes, I think. So the orange or green. So the first time I played this, I went with Martell. So I'm going to go with Jordaynes this time, just to see if there's any differences to the story or the ongoing campaign. So Nymeria is going to give her hand in marriage to that fellow, who's probably not as good looking as the other guy, but anyway, that's how she's strategically what she's decided.
Yes.
So it's asking me to send my units to join forces with his units. That's what that little blue arrow thing is on the map. So I'm selecting both my armies and going towards my new ally.
I'm listening.
I'm listening.
So I could probably build another army here. It's something I could keep on top of, keep the ticking over. Oh, no, it's been blocked out. Okay. So you have to move your army to this blue spot before you can do anything else.
Understood.
No bad feelings, I hope. I prefer you as a corpse and an ally. Oh, great. So turns out he's not so friendly after all, and he's now killing my armies I sent to his. So I'm building more armies that I can, and he's got quite a few green ones there. So I don't know how well my army's going to hold out. I mean, I had two of them, so that's actually why I built one before I let it get to the 300 stock, just so I would have an extra, army to deal with this for when this happens. And I've got a third one coming out, and I'm sending him up there to deal with the archers. So I've got quite a good amount of food count. I've got lots of peasants, heaps of food per minute, and it looks like Martells. He's going to come to my rescue. So yep. So that's good. And I think this is what naturally happens in the story anyway. So whether you pick Jordaynes or Martells, pretty much has the same outcome, which is kind of cool. I didn't know that when I was playing this. I thought it would have been a bit different, but I'm glad that he's coming to my rescue. And so from here, it's just more about building the armies and killing the armies. And with the help of Martells, it's fairly simple to do. But since I've got quite a few armies of my own, because I've got such high food income, I can sort of attack his armies sort of on my own. So that's why I'm just kind of rushing in there. But if you are low on armies, you probably want to just follow his one around and help attack with him and fight as more of a joint force rather than sort of just ad hoc all over the place. So there's fights going on all over the show. I want to see where I can help out, where my attention's kind of needed. I'm swinging the battles in my favour, and I've got some armies down here I'm not quite utilising, so I'll be moving them out.
Victory will be ours.
And the objective here now is just to destroy his army. So you don't really have to worry about occupying any more towns or anything. You just got to kill his army forces, which you can normally see quite easily on the maps as the red dots.
What is it you want?
So there's again the crossbows in there on the action. I think they're like one of the best units, because if you got the crossbows, you can either, you know, just if your other armies engaging their army, they can just shoot from afar, or if you can kite the armies as well, then you've got the crossbows can just sit there and do damage from afar. So there we go, we've kind of sandwiched in his armies and taken those ones out. So I'll be seeing the rest of my forces, as well as a couple of unlucky peasants. I don't know why I've selected those. There we go, putting them back to go mine, because they're not too helpful in battle. I'm sending my rest of my forces up north to his stronghold where the last red dot is. And there we go, so you can see it on the map, it's in the field of vision, even though he's within the fog of war. You can still see him, so I'll just hunt him down and finish off the job.
Food supplies are on their way. Food supplies are on their way.
I'm thinking about it. There we go, waiting to get enough to get some men at arms, some other kind of units. Those two armies down there should be able to take out those horses, and these armies up north should be able to take up his army up here by the castle. And yeah, so passing this mission on expert, that's how I've done it. So you're going to have a spy, then you're going to have one of the alliances, and it all comes down to beating the other one's army by the end of it. So anyway, so thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one.